Welcome to an all-new episode of Rehashing, where each week we rehash the latest top entertainment news and, of course, all of Bachelor Nation.
Woo-hoo. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
What a week.
Hola.
We all dressed the same this week. Not sure how that happened. That was not planned, but
yeah.
We're twinning. All wearing the same thing.
We're quadrupling.
Lianna and I are fully twinning.
Yeah, we're very much wearing the airy sweatsuit right now that I think
we love the Weekender set.
Yeah, I think all of North America has this set, honestly.
Can I just take a big pause? I think we all, it's just really important for us to all give Alanna a round of applause for her white background that she finally was able to get.
Yes.
Sorry, it needed to be said, and I know I cut you off, but thank you. We really appreciate it.
You know what? You're welcome. Was I really pissed off trying to figure this out for the last 2 weeks? Yeah. And did I figure it out and was I happy? Especially because you three were happy about it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I think it's really important that we start this week off by paying tribute to Kobe and Gigi since it's been 1 year since their tragic death. So
yeah, it's actually crazy. Today on my Snapchat time hop memory thing or whatever, it showed a year ago today, and I remember Dave and I were out for brunch and we came back to my condo and we were lying on the couch and my brother had texted me turn on the news, you actually need to put the news on, and who says put the news on? I'm on check.
It sounds like
yeah mm-hmm. And I guess because it was so shocking anyway, so I put on CP24, which is the Toronto breaking news station, and I actually could not believe what I was seeing. I thought it was a joke, and that night was the Grammys, and I remember thinking there's no way they're going to go on with the Grammys. This is the craziest, most tragic, shocking news.
Yeah.
And then I didn't believe it.
I found out right away from TMZ, and I don't know if anyone knows, but my family is a big Laker family. We don't do hockey, we do basketball.
Yeah.
And my brother's phone number ends in Kobe. Those are the last 4 digits of his phone number. And I found out, and I texted my brother, and he was like, no. Yeah. I think that's the one news story. Everyone knows I'm always behind because I'm just not on my phone as much. And that was the one news story I saw. It was from TMZ, and everyone thought it was a lie. Everyone thought it was a joke. First, everyone thought his whole family it was just
terrible.
I think that was the catalyst of 2020.
Every other minute there was a different little story coming out. Oh, it was just Kobe on the plane, or oh, it was Kobe and his wife, or oh, I don't know. It was so just so many different things, and I feel everybody was super emotional by it. Everybody's still super emotional by it, and obviously we try and talk about really happy things on this podcast, but I just feel the entire world was shook by that, and we just wanted to quickly
pay tribute.
Well, we had a big week last week. There was a inauguration in the United States. Very exciting. However, there was a lot of pop culture associated with it, and that's all we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
So firstly, the performances. We had 3 incredible performances. We had Lady Gaga, we had J-Lo, we had Garth Brooks, and then later that night there was the massive concert with Justin Timberlake, Demi Lovato, Katy Perry,
John Legend,
Bon Jovi, I think.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Oh,
it was
Tim
just
McGraw.
Overwhelming.
There was
just
so many
performances.
Honestly.
It was overwhelming, and all day I was saying I feel this was done in really good taste. Everyone looked amazing, everyone sounded amazing. It was very exciting.
So while we're on the topic of everyone looking amazing, the real highlight of that day was President Joe Biden's granddaughters.
Yes.
So I'm not very familiar with American politics, with his family, with whatnot. However, we were all watching the inauguration. All of a sudden, Joe Biden and his family walk out, and you see these young 20-something girls walking out in these monochromatic looks, and I was just wait.
On point.
Yeah, they were serving us looks, actually.
Yeah. I actually noticed them a little while back at one of the rallies that I was watching, and I noticed that he was on stage with his whole family, and I remember being okay, who belongs to who? Who is siblings? Who's cousins? Who are the kids? Who are the grandchildren? I couldn't figure it out because they all just seemed really close, and they could be the children of the president. That's how close they are with him. So anyway, when I saw them at like walk out at the inauguration, I was like, okay, now I feel like I kind of know who they are.
She knew everyone else. She's like, that's Finn, that's Naomi, that's Natalie. She's like calling every single one. She's like, that's Huntress, that's Bo. She like knows everyone.
I think after that, we all just like went down this rabbit hole of the Biden family.
Well,
And
it started with Alanna discovering that interview with Jenna Bush.
They did a 20-minute interview, and it was the best 20 minutes of the entire day. And they were just talking about their relationship with their grandparents and how like he calls them every single day, even if they don't want to answer. And if they don't answer, he gets upset. Like it was so nice to see. Yeah. I tried to get more out of it after that interview, and there's like literally nothing. All of their Instagrams except for one are private. Like it's like I'm just supposed to just like move on with my life. But
I know.
Like
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them.
And then at the concert, they didn't show them really, but you could see them in the background in a couple of scenes wearing these like gorgeous gowns. You're just like,
they all.
It was like
so
as
good.
if we weren't. It's like as if the outfits they gave us at the actual inauguration weren't enough. They came to the celebration in their like sequin gowns. Like one of them was wearing Jordans, which I thought was super cool.
They're just so cool.
They're just really cool.
No, but speaking of people that were like dressed well and not well at this inaugural concert, not well for me was Demi Lovato. And I feel very confident in saying that just because I am like the resident Demi Lovato stan. Like since I've been like 10 years old, I've been obsessed with this woman. So I feel like people can't talk shit about her except for me. Like I'm the only one that's allowed to say smack, which brings me to my next story, I guess.
Can you pause for 5 seconds before you go into the next story? Is that there was a point in time that you said you didn't like Demi Lovato anymore.
Okay,
and then we, hold on for the rest of the group that needs to know this. We then went to a concert. We managed to get front row tickets. It was with Nick Jonas, Demi Lovato, and all of a sudden Lianna's like, I don't really care about her that much. And Lianna just went from 0 to 100 in like 30 seconds. I'm like, girl, you still like Demi Lovato more than the average human being.
I know. I'm not going to ever get over it. But anyway, so she looks horrible at this inaugural concert thing. Like, I don't know what she's doing with her hair. And like that outfit was tragic, all in all, whatever bad. But speaking of Demi, she was also in the news this week, which brings us to our next story, a little TV segment. She has a TV show potentially coming out with NBC. So she's managed by Scooter Braun. And his production company is now working with NBC on making the show called Hungry. And it's apparently going to be about a group of friends who belong to this like food support group, which is really topical and relatable to Demi because as we all know, she dealt with like multiple eating disorders for most of her adult life, basically all of her adult life. But yeah, so it's going to be about a group of friends that find each other, like solace in each other in this like food support
I can't
group.
stop thinking of the Disney show Young and Hungry or something. Like when you're saying Hungry.
That is a show.
But with Emily, isn't it with Emily Osment or something?
Yes,
That's what I'm thinking about.
It's like a free form show.
But anyway, it's
going to be a comedy on NBC. Demi hasn't really acted since Sunny with a Chance, so it's going to be interesting.
Princess Protection Program.
Yeah, but that was first. Sunny
before. Sure.
Yeah. The only thing she's really done in between was Will and Grace for a little bit, and then she was in that new Will Ferrell movie, Eurovision, with Rachel McAdams. That was really horrible.
Oh, it was awful.
Really? Oh, yeah. She did an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
So she's getting potentially a show, which will be so nice for me because
Mazel tov.
I'm here for all the Demi Lovato content. But also on TV, Bridgerton, which we all love and have talked about many times on the show, finally got greenlit for season 2, even though we all thought we got greenlit for 8 seasons.
Anthony.
There was that weird like piece of information floating around because there's so many books that all of the books were being made into TV show, but really it's just we're getting one more season, which is amazing. I hope that we get more Daphne content, like Daphne.
Yeah, I hope so too. I did see, because obviously it's based on the books and like the next one is going to be about Anthony. Like I just hope that Daphne and the Duke are still in it.
I'm sure. Like Anthony was in her show, so he could be she's in his.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just hope there's like some steamy scenes in there because we all love the steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they set the standard. Like that's like what their show's kind of like known for, the steam, so they can't
get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then in other TV news, Britney Spears, who we kind of talked about last week with Jamie and the Cats, which I don't even want to revisit. I will start choking again. But Britney Spears is apparently having an FX show come out on Hulu. It's going to be about her life, kind of her rise to fame and then her tragic downfall and how the media totally tried to capitalize on her mental health issues. And I don't really know. Apparently she may not even be so involved, which is annoying because I would obviously love to hear an authentic story from her, but it's cool, I guess. Like everyone loves Britney.
I was a big Britney fan.
growing up.
A lot of her, big.
I think all of us were.
Fan.
Yeah,
I don't
all
know.
of us were. But yeah, so that's apparently something else that's happening in TV. But I guess this could be a good segue in talking about TV to bring it back to a story we talked about 2 weeks ago that I feel like is so relevant and will never not be relevant. But back to the whole High School Musical, the musical, the series drama of it all. So a quick recap, 2 weeks ago, Olivia Rodrigo, who stars in High School Musical, the series, released a song called Driver's License. It's literally set a bajillion and a half records. It's like the #1 song globally. It's staying at that spot, comfy, cozy, not budging. And she dated this guy who was also on the show, Joshua Bassett. She wrote the song Driver's License about their relationship, how he broke her heart and left her for this older blonde girl that she's insecure about. And then a week later, Joshua Bassett released a song called Lie, 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 which people thought maybe was in retaliation, but we did our own digging and figured out that it's obviously not in retaliation because it was written way before the Olivia Rodrigo drama of it all. But we're now brought up to speed today when on Friday, Sabrina Carpenter releases a song called Skin that is everything a diss track is supposed to be. It literally calls basically Olivia out by name.
It was not classy.
It was so not classy. The song basically like makes many references to drivers back to the driver license of it all.
The blonde girl.
The blonde
says like
girl.
you could have used a different word other than blonde to rhyme with. Like she just literally takes no holds bars. Like
she literally said that she literally wrote verbatim, "This is my side of the story."
Yeah.
All Olivia really wrote was, "You're everything I'm insecure about." Like that's a really nice thing to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So like Olivia basically wrote a love song, a breakup song about a boy who broke her heart. And like Sabrina Carpenter was collateral damage in that story. Like that's the girl that the guy moved on to, whether she became between them or didn't. And like sucks for her, but she obviously wanted to capitalize on this narrative that's being talk about her, and she wants to take control of the story in her own way.
She just did not do it in a good way.
I don't think she did it in a good way. And what also bothers me is that like I saw a lot of people saying that Sabrina, well, we know from Olivia's song, Sabrina Carpenter is the older girl, and like I don't know, I just don't see what the point was, why she has to bring Olivia down. Like clearly it was a PR, there's a whole PR stunt involved.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was all about the money. Like I think that's, and like the star power to it. Like for the first time in all of Sabrina Carpenter's career, she's being talked about on a global scale, and it's not for something that she's done. It's not for her being in Girl Meets World. It's not from her starring in Mean Girls on Broadway. It's none of those reasons. It's because she was dragged into the story. So I get from her standpoint where she's like, hey, this isn't even a story that I want to tell. It's not my story, but you know what? My name's being dragged in anyway. I'm going to try to take control of it. I don't know. She could have done it in a different way that wasn't like taking down Olivia. And I'm just not here for like girls taking down girls.
So I do have like one thing to think about. So I don't know if it's a generational thing because like we're not Disney Channel's like demographic, but like for some reason I feel like today's Disney Channel stars are like not as big as they were when we were younger and fit that demographic. Like we had Demi Lovato, we had Selena Gomez, we had Miley Cyrus, we had Hilary Duff, and like
the Jonas Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers. I feel like it could easily have been a PR scandal because Disney doesn't have that right now, and they need people they needed something to like kind of put them out there. I had no idea who Olivia was before her song came out and it blew up like it did.
It's hard to say, but I will actually, just to add to that, I feel like it's also easy for us to say like, oh, we didn't know who Olivia was, but that's because like we're really not in that demographic. Whereas I feel like we're old, like it is what it is, but I feel like the people that are in that demographic, like they for sure all know who Olivia Rodrigo is. It just doesn't seem as like intense to us or as obvious to us because we're kind of out of it. But I fully see what you're saying, Alanna, and I actually agree with it. And I do think the Disney stars that came out of our age are way better.
Anyway, that's the Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter thing. I'm not listening to that song. Team Olivia.
So speaking of Olivia's though, Olivia Jade returned to YouTube this week after a long hiatus after the 2019 college admission scandal.
Yeah.
So just as a refresher, her mother, Lori Loughlin from Full House, Aunt Becky, she and her husband, among with hundreds of other parents, were involved in this scandal where bribes were given to, I think this is like one guy, I don't know if he was like affiliated with only USC or if it was different schools, to get their kids into school, and they like had contributed, I don't know if it was like $500,000
I think it was
collectively between their two daughters or if it was each child, but They gave a lot of money. They pretended their daughters were recruits. But yeah, so she's back. She looked good. She had like a cute little intro.
In a new condo, like because they sold their house, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
well, I think there was like a whole thing. She like moved out when the whole thing happened. I don't know if it was like.
Well, she was living at USC.
Well, she was living with her sister because I watched the Red Table Talk. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah.
With Jada Pinkett Smith when she kind of came on and told her story. At that point, by the way, both her parents were still in prison. So
right
then and now her mother got out. But what I was going to say is that she mentioned in that kind of video that she was living with her sister, and obviously they weren't living in their house anymore. Right. So I'm sure there was like a lot of moving around.
Olivia Jade made her return. We're happy for her. To close out this talk on Olivia, I just want to mention, I think it's funny.
Welcome back.
Did anyone watch Full House and remember it the way I do? Okay. So remember when her and Uncle Jesse get married and he goes to prison? So it's like very Uncle Jesse of her together.
Oh. I just like her presence was missed. Her presence was missed on the last Fuller House.
It really, you know what? It was a terrible show and it should have never happened.
I loved it.
No, it was
Fuller
so
House.
Bad.
I didn't really watch it.
I love Jackson.
As Full House's number one fan.
Yeah.
Like I owned all the DVD seasons for that show. I would go home from school, watch it. Like that was my thing. The first season was fun. It really wasn't the same without an Olsen twin.
Yeah. And now that I am talking, you all know what's about to come, because it seems that for the last few weeks, I have been the designated introducer of all things Bachelor Nation. I don't
Only
know
right, because you are winning in our Bachelor brackets. So if you're going to take the lead there, take the lead here.
Who are you colluding with?
Yeah.
How are you number one?
We talked about this last time. Collude does not exist in our Bachelor pool. There's no collude.
There's actually not anymore.
There
never was.
There never was this season. There never was this season. In
the
past, we used to read spoilers and we used to like talk about things all the time. But now I find it so hard. Like we're trying to keep our opinions to ourselves during the episode and whatever. But all that being said, before we go into the recap of the episode, there is, of course, like every other week, a lot of news in Bachelor Nation. So we'll talk about a couple of those and then we will go straight into the episode. So to start us off, we are going to talk about Colton. So Colton Underwood was the Bachelor. Oh, I see Lianna rolling her eyes. She's not interested, but we're just going to mention it because it was pretty dramatic what happened. Colton was the Bachelor a couple of years ago. He made it very clear that he was choosing Cassie at the end, regardless if she wanted to be chosen or not. He was still going to choose her. I guess that's a good way to put it. No.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. She
it didn't matter.
It was very evident she didn't want to be chosen.
Yeah.
He hopped a fence for her. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And for anybody who didn't watch Colton's season, basically what happened is he had a few people left, I think about 3, including Cassie. And he just decided that she was going to be it. He was in love with her, but they ended up leaving the show together, not engaged. She finally agreed to leave with him, and they've been together. They were together up until mid-quarantine, I would say. And basically,
it was still the beginning.
No, didn't they get like Corona together?
He had Corona, and
they broke up.
And he quarantined in her family's house, and her family like took care of
his family?
But did you read his new excerpt from his chapter?
I didn't read the full excerpt, but what I wanted to mention is that he released parts of his book, which will be coming out shortly. And in that, he basically said that he was not ready to let go of Cassie. And I have exactly what he said. I didn't want to accept that Cass wanted to break up with me. I didn't want it to be over. I didn't want any of this to be real. So what does everyone think? We know that there was an apparent restraining order.
Like what? Yeah, clearly.
He sounds like a psychopath. Ted Bundy would have tied her up.
He put a friggin' tracker on her car. Yeah. She filed a police report restraining order against him. Like, restraining orders are not easy to get. Like, you need to go through a lot of steps and prove a lot of, like, provide a lot of evidence as to why you're in danger, why you don't want any more contact. Like, it's not a one-two thing.
No, it's intense.
And the fact that now when he's friggin' book, he's going, like, I didn't want to break up with her, like, trying to make it seem that, like, this is just, like, a passive thing.
He was always weird. He was
always a bit weird. We weren't too happy when he was the Bachelor.
No.
We never liked him, which is why...
I think we liked him.
No, we
did. Who did he come from?
Becca.
Becca.
We wanted Blake.
Not even Jason. Blake.
I wanted
Colton?
Blake or Jason.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why we were disappointed
Colton?
because like
the only reason he got it was because he's a virgin. Like, let's be real.
Because he's Ali Raisman's ex-boyfriend.
Yes. Forgot about that.
Anyway, that all being said, we don't like him, so we're not going to spend any more time on him.
It seems like we hate everyone pretty much.
There's something in the water.
I don't hate Catherine and Sean, who, by the way, are celebrating 7 years of being married today. I definitely don't hate them.
And why are they never featured? Like, why did I get Ben Higgins last night and not?
Because they have 3 kids and they're busy and they can't fly out to Poland and quarantine, you know?
Fine.
But we're very happy for Sean and Catherine. We hate most people, but we like them. Yeah. And on the note of someone else that we really like, I think we all really like her, Hannah B.
Yeah.
Hannah Brown. We love Hannah Brown. The reason that we're going to talk about Hannah B is because we've all been really invested in her love life since she was the Bachelorette a couple years ago. She chose a guy named Jed and he ended up being a dud. He was basically like came on the show to become famous because he was a singer, but he was really terrible. The reason we are talking about this story is because ever since then, we've been really invested in her love story. And now we are seeing that she is dating somebody and his name is Adam Willard. And he looks so much like Tyler C.
He does.
If you're a fan of The Bachelor, you know who Tyler C. is. He's
I don't see it
James'
either.
best friend.
Even if you're not a fan, like he was rumored to be dating what's her name, like
Gigi Hadid.
Yeah, and also another what's her name, Stassi.
I just feel happy for Hannah, like after The Bachelorette not going in her favor and then like trying things out with Tyler C, who was on her season, and then like she like went to Jupiter,
I really
Florida.
need like a tell-all about what happened with the quarantine crew.
They did
one.
They did a little YouTube video, Hannah and Tyler, but it wasn't really
didn't give us
it wasn't juicy.
I was satisfied. I think they told the truth.
I will never
What do you
be
want
satisfied.
juicy? If nothing happened, nothing happened.
I don't believe that.
He said that they slept in the same bed, but they didn't make out or something.
See, I don't believe that.
Yeah. Now we're really happy for Hannah.
We're so happy for Hannah.
We hope things work out.
I feel like people just think he looks like Tyler C because he's hot, and Tyler C is hot. You know?
Yeah.
I think he's like a model on the side of whatever.
Yeah, so is
He
Tyler.
is really good looking.
He's like
if you're a male model, you look like Tyler C.
I was laughing though at the pictures that came out of Hannah with the guy, like the first pictures of them spotted together. And
the outfit.
Hillary Duff.
Exactly. Yeah. She's wearing like a blue Yankees hat and a green like raincoat, and everyone's saying that it's like the Hillary Duff outfit from A Cinderella Story.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, that's so true.
And didn't she have, wasn't her like thing for her promo was that she was Cinderella?
Yeah.
In that like blue outfit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like that was her, like the tabloids.
Yeah, like she was
wow.
in the woods.
And on that note, I think it's time to just dive right into The Bachelor, to Matt James. I just want to say, like, each week, honestly, like last night, I don't get annoyed watching The Bachelor very often. I actually enjoy it. But last night I was super annoyed. I found the girls were out of control, or should I say the producers were out of control with the things that they were doing and like the conniving behind it all and like the words that were chosen and the things that were put on air, I found were like next level mean. So basically, picking up where we left off from the week before, it was yet another week of us waiting for our rose ceremony. And the episode started. We had just seen Sarah leave from last week. We're over her. We don't care anymore. And it went right into a group date, but we only got the evening portion of the group date because Sarah leaving took up so much of the day. So that group date, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, was pretty irrelevant. The only thing that we saw there was Chelsea for the first time got some airtime. She seemed really nice. They were talking about some really important issues.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
I like the way that ABC, I find that they're very like tasteful in how they bring in these like important conversations. I find that they're doing it in a very respectful, important way. And I love the conversation that Matt had with Chelsea about like her hair and how important her hair is to her. And it just made me think also back to the Ariana Grande song Hair, where like, because Ariana Grande is so known for her ponytail and her hair and how it's like a comfort blanket for her as part of her identity. And I just thought that's something that's like not really talked about in the show, so like glamorized, and it's always about like what the women look like. And I just found that it was like a very important conversation to have that's like never been had on the show. So there was a lot of like very good moments from his time with Chelsea, like in the whatever 4 minutes that we saw on TV.
Yeah.
It got through a lot of important stuff. I found. I loved it.
Yeah, and I was happy that she got the group date rose. Like, I thought it was merited. I mean, I think it was also partly they didn't show literally anybody else. Like, they showed nobody else.
The editing was so awful this episode. It was so clear that things were edited out. Like, usually it's very seamless.
Yeah,
but I found the last 2 episodes we knew that they were missing parts.
Yeah, I think it was also because they were probably like thrown off when Sarah was leaving, and she took up that whole daytime portion. Like, last episode, like, don't forget, like, Rachel came out with the group date rose, and they were supposed to go on their group date that afternoon, but then the whole thing happened with Sarah. So I think like that whole date like never actually happened, and they just went straight to the evening. And they also cut out a lot because they spent way too much time on the drama, which was annoying. After that, we saw a cocktail party, which was like the biggest, I would say, thing really that's happened so far. They've been teasing it all season. They had their cocktail party, and the new girls finally showed up, which I think we all have some like different opinions on. But we had 5 new girls who showed up: Britney, Michelle, Ryan, Catalina, and Kim. So they showed up, and all the girls, of course, are wild, as are we, because it's just so annoying. Like I said, it's the producers just being.
I didn't like how the girls continuously were, like, the OGs were continuously taking it out on the new girls, as if they decided we are going to come in at week 3, 4. We are going to do this. Like, why are you being mean to them? They didn't do anything to you. Like, this is number one. It's a show.
I think there's 2 sides to it. I think there's the side of like, we're annoyed at the producers because they did this. They are the ones that are making drama where drama is not necessary. That's like one side. Why are the girls being mean to the new girls? Like, it's not their fault.
No.
They were told what to do.
I just don't understand what the need was to add more women. Like, they keep saying how this season is like the most girls they've ever had. It's like, you gave him all these girls. Like, why?
There was like, 32 people the first episode?
You know why I think they did it? I think they did it because, one, they did it with Tayshia. Like, technically it was because it was a new bachelorette. They brought in more guys, whatever. And I think they liked that idea. And in a normal season, they can't really do that because after like the first 3 weeks, they're taking off to another part of the country.
True.
So it's like, here they're at one place for the whole time. Here's like a little like added sparkle we can add into the season to like spice things up.
Okay.
And
I actually felt bad for Matt. Did you guys not feel bad for Matt? Because when Chris pulled him aside, like, as somebody who's never been on Bachelor Nation before, like, he's watched the show before, but Chris pulled him aside and didn't even give him a minute to process what was happening. And then the limo showed up.
Yeah. What's also really crazy is that all of these girls were like pre-known, like they were casted and chosen at the same time as the original girls. Like, when Reality Steve leaked all of the contestants of this season, those girls were part of the names that were leaked. So like, it was it's just an interesting decision. Obviously, it's like to stir the pot and create drama 3 weeks in. Let's add 5 more girls. But like, I don't.
It's true because Anna knew about her.
Yeah. I just don't really understand like the motive.
My real question is, where's Tyler C? When is Tyler C coming?
I actually am not sure.
I don't think he does.
Hey, excuse me? Ben, we get Ben Higgins and Wells, and we don't get his best friend Tyler C, the hottest guy.
I feel like
I don't think we're getting I feel like they want it to be like Matt's journey, and they don't want to bring Tyler.
It's not even Matt's journey. We see him for 3 minutes an episode.
I know.
No, but he's still the Bachelor, and like adding Tyler into the mix is just
also Matt
takes away from product.
Maybe he'll be there at hometowns. Maybe he'll meet the girls.
He was never a Bachelor, right? He was just a runner-up. But who knows? Maybe he shows up.
And Wells was like, just a contestant.
But like, everyone loves Wells. Wells is the bartender on Bachelor in Paradise.
Ashley I, like, none of these people.
Ashley I is also like a huge part of the show.
Okay, but I'm just saying
she is. So basically, that's what happened pretty much at that cocktail party. The new girls showed up. Current girls were pissed, and there was a lot of drama there. And then we had the rose ceremony.
Victoria took the crown.
Oh yeah, Victoria. One of the new girls is like a pageant girl, and Catalina, and she came in with a crown. And Victoria, obviously being the drama queen that she is,
the hired actor,
steals the crown. Like, ridiculous.
Can we pause for 5 seconds to discuss Victoria? So she was great last week. She had some great one-liners. I was excited to see her, and she just disappointed. this week she went back to being like the not nice girl, the bully, like go home, we're done here. And then I saw something on Instagram that she was on an episode of $1 Million Listing, I want to say it was.
Yeah.
And like on her Instagram, she was a flight attendant on a private plane. Like she's not buying $1 million home in whatever city in America. So like, she's an actress. She's not.
She's an actress.
It's why she's still there. It's why Matt's entertaining her. Like, it's just,
it's annoying. But honestly, as much as we hate Victoria, like the hate she's getting online right now is really not nice.
Oh, of course.
Especially that video that came out. Matt, he was golfing with a few of his friends, and it looks like, I think it was somebody that worked at the golf course. Basically, there's a video going around right now. Matt posted it and then deleted it, but he's basically golfing, and there's a guy that's like setting up his shot for him, and he's talking to Matt in a way that you get the vibe that like he doesn't really know Matt, because he's like, oh yeah, that girl Victoria on your season. Like, why would he be talking like that if they were actually buddies? Like, you would think that
that's true.
He would know more information. And he basically says to her, like, what were you doing with that Victoria girl, kissing her with that body? Like, made a comment, like critiquing.
So uncool.
Yeah.
So mean.
And I will say Matt, like, didn't really acknowledge it. He kind of just,
at all.
He kind of just laughed it off, which is bad in itself, but he didn't acknowledge it, I assume, because he's, like, under contract and he can't really talk about it in public and all that. But, I don't know, I just feel really bad for her. Like, even though she's a psycho.
Yeah,
like,
it's not, you never freaking take down a girl's body. Like, I don't really care how psycho you are. Like, you don't do that. And then I felt bad last night. She posted it on Instagram. She's like, what did you say about my body? And she posted her and like, and then she deleted it. But then she reposted it today with a different caption. But anyway, I just feel bad as much.
I was just very sad about it. And I just, no matter what, like, we have to remember that these are real people.
I know, like, even if she's a hired actress, like, that's still her body. So that's just like a no entry zone. Like, you don't.
Yeah. And I will agree with Alanna with what she said about how we were, like, last week, we were excited about Victoria's really funny one-liners, even though they were, like, kind of mean, but they were funny.
Yeah.
This week she
Sarah was the bad guy last week. So
this week,
this week she was just mean.
She was straight up mean, and it all started when the new girls came in. So just quickly to, like, end that rose ceremony discussion, 3 girls went home, Kayla, Kaylee, and Kim.
All forgettable.
All forgettable. I just feel bad that Kim came and quarantined and then got sent home right away. That was the rose ceremony. Kayla, Kylie, Kim are gone. And after that, we are moving on to our next group date. Well, technically the first real group date of the episode. Where a bunch of girls were introduced to our favorite. We've already talked about him literally on every episode. Ben Higgins, who came to give Matt James some advice. Again, we're not really sure why they chose Ben, but favorite for whatever reason. And he came, and basically the date was like these fall festival challenges. It was kind of funny. Whatever. Like, it was pretty lame.
There were a lot of camp references. I don't know if it's like specifically to the camp we went to or if it was like a whole thing, but we had some stuff going in the group chat. Like, who was it? Maggie, who like just couldn't do the squash pumpkin kayak thingy.
That's me on a canoe trip.
She's never been on a canoe trip.
She reminded me of the campers that got stuck in the forest during boating and canoeing.
Oh, that was me. I used to have to like get pulled in.
And it was, Lianna, you also made a joke while we were watching about campers. I don't remember what it was though.
No, I was just saying how they were like, the girls were talking about like it's the OGs versus the new girls. The first month campers, how like whenever the first month kids stay on for a second session at camp and then all the new kids come in and the counselors like favor the original campers over the new campers because they already have the relationship with them. I was like, this is like mean camp bullying bullshit that I don't like.
I was a second monther one time.
Me too. I was a second monther and my counselors always liked me. So
I was never a second monther.
That's just because we're cool, Samantha.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, there were definitely some camp vibes there. Other than like Maggie being really funny and like trying to paddle, which we were laughing at.
Poor girl.
Again, the group date was kind of irrelevant. I also found that in the evening portion, when he was talking to all the girls, like first of all, we didn't see him talk to that many of them, but the ones that we did see, he was literally just like repeating himself to every single girl. Like, I find him a little bit uninteresting. I hope he gets better. He's super good looking, but he's not interesting. Like, he literally just says the same thing.
I'm dying.
Girl, I'm happy you're here. You know, like, tell me something about you. Like, I don't know. I find nothing's flowing organically.
I think he has front runners and he has to just go with it. And he's new to the whole show, so he doesn't really know like what's going on kind of thing.
The best thing about the group date was that Brie got the group date rose, and we love her, so we're rooting for her. And that is pretty much all I will say about the group date. Like, I don't think there was anything else to say. The main part of the storyline kind of started coming out at this group date. The main part of the episode was about how the new girl Britney is apparently, in Anna's words, entertaining men for money. Which actually makes all of us really annoyed. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, because regardless if it's true or not, the way that Anna brought it up and the way that she kind of like victimized Britney from the beginning, even though we all hated Britney, by the way, I didn't need to know she was an escort or not to hate her. Like, I already was annoyed by her from the beginning. And Anna just added fuel to the fire. She's starting this rumor that like, you literally can't Google Britney now without seeing the word
disgusting.
escort.
She said it in front of everyone. She did not pull her side. She had a sneaky, rude grin on her face. And now everyone's posting about her being an escort. Her name is ruined, slandered. Whether she's one or not, who cares? I don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how page 6, when they posted about her, they found like the one with her wearing the least amount of clothing, like kind of like really alluding to the fact that she's an escort, putting us side by side with her Bachelor picture. And it's just, Anna, not cool. Women should be supporting women.
Like the thing is, there should be no shaming of sex workers. That's like the first thing, which is insane that that's even has to be said. Like, the fact that
2021,
it's just really insane. But the other thing that I've been thinking about since last night, and honestly since before, like from when we first saw the promo, is like the amount of vetting these producers do to get these girls on the show. Like, not just background checks, criminal checks, like the psychological things they put them through, like the testing, the questionnaires, they get into. You don't think that if this girl was actually working in this industry, the Bachelor producers would know about it?
Yeah.
It was based on rumor. Anna used the word rumor when she was saying it. She was like, there's rumors that she's entertaining men for money. Like, that's how she
maybe she didn't actually get text messages. Maybe it was like the producers and they planted it into her head. And so like, the idea, like they were like even we found this when we were vetting her.
Even more than Anna doing something wrong, it goes back to what I was saying about the beginning about how the producers are just straight savage this season. Because even if that whole thing had happened, the producers could have decided to cut it out and they could have focused on something else. Like, I just found like it's ultimately like Anna is not nice and she shouldn't have brought it up, but it's the producers that choose what gets to go on TV, and they went with it. And I hope they get hate for it, honestly. I
think it was really awful because there's so many different things that people kind of like group together with escort. Like, maybe she was sending someone a picture of her feet, you know? I'm just saying.
What?
Maybe she has an OnlyFans. Like, you don't know.
So next up we have Michelle, who gets the coveted one-on-one, and all the girls in the house are not happy about it, of course. And I do see where they're coming from in the sense that like she's brand new. She's had like literally 12 seconds with Matt. Yeah. I would have liked to see Abigail or somebody that we really love go on that one-on-one.
Yeah.
But ultimately, honestly, I have to say, I really enjoyed their one-on-one. I thought that they got along really well. I knew she was going to be a big player because, not player in a bad way, like a big player on the show. Mm-hmm. Because she was literally in so many different promos. Yes. And now thinking back to the promo, there were so many other clips that we didn't see last night. So I know she's going to be even more. She's going to get another date for sure. And yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think? I liked her.
As you know, I like her because she's a teacher. So anyone who's ever a teacher on the show is always my front runner. I really enjoyed her date. I thought it was very beautiful. I thought they got along very nicely. And you know what? I don't really care that she's new, because let's think of night one. The next day, they got a first date card, whatever. And those people knew Matt the same amount of time, and they get a date card.
No, but the point Sam was saying is like that Matt's had now like 3 weeks worth of time to establish relationships with all these other girls, and now there's somebody that's coming in that has no foundation at all.
Exactly.
That makes sense to me then.
Abigail was at 3 weeks.
It does make sense. He needs to get to know the new girls. And that's totally fair. But like, yeah, okay, we could say his relationship with Abby is like already established, and, like, so he doesn't need that one-on-one, but at the same time, it's like the one-on-one is to like build a relationship.
The person who gets the one-on-one, the first impression rose, usually doesn't get a one-on-one till the end.
Oh, you're right.
Because they're like they're like a very obvious front runner, and they need to give him a chance to like meet other people.
True. I don't know.
Alanna coming out with the good theories tonight.
I have a bad feeling about Abby. I don't know. I just feel that like they've really plateaued, and I feel like we're not going to get much more out of her, and that
I think she's going to go far.
I think she's going to rise up.
The next Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Chris Harrison had said in like that video where he introduced all the girls that like she was from the get-go the favorite for the producers, for everyone, and then the way they showed her on night one, the way how she's like one of the few girls, if the only girl, who's been able to do an interview since the show started, they're preparing her to be the Bachelorette.
But I also think
her for that, yeah.
But we're missing a lot of their content, because I remember last episode Matt made a comment like, oh, we had a great chat at like Abigail, like I love talking to you, but we didn't see that chat.
Yeah, so, we're seeing a fraction of what's happening.
So also like we're missing those great
That happened last night too, by the way. That happened with who was it?
MJ.
Oh yeah, no, not MJ. Piper, or I think it was Piper, who made like like she came in this episode. Like I was ready to get rid of her on my bracket. But anyway, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of content that like we're not fully seeing. But yeah, so I really liked the date. I also thought that like they had a lot of good conversations. It wasn't just like fun and games. Like their time, like the two of them, was actually spent well.
Yeah. There's still one more group date, right?
Yeah, exactly. So basically the one-on-one is over.
And shows they're so long.
And what happens after is that there's another group date, and this one is the wrestling date. This is the one where we get Wells to be the judge or whatever, which like we always love seeing Wells. He should replace Chris Harrison one day, but that's a conversation for another time, in my opinion.
Yes.
But yeah, the date got very, very rowdy. Like I couldn't believe the girls were actually punching.
I loved it.
The face. Adina was like, I would love this date. I would punch everyone in the face at all times.
Uppercut. I don't know. Like I don't love watching like the fighting ones and the rolling in the mud ones, but like I feel like yes, I would have enjoyed that date. I've always said I wanted to beat someone up.
It was so physical, and like Serena got hurt, and I'm just like not here for Serena getting hurt, because we all know that like
she's so little.
Girl. Yeah, and she's like a Toronto girl, and I'm
Yeah. Wait, speaking of Serena, how did we forget this?
Oh my God! Update. Rehashing, you heard it here first. I over the weekend I slid into Serena P's DMs, and I was like, we
explain
love you.
Why.
Oh, well, because she's wearing this sweatsuit that me and Adina are wearing. So I was like, we're triplets. But I put her DMs and I was like, we have a podcast. We love you. We're Canadian. I think this would be really fun. You need to come talk to us about your experience on Bachelor. And she wrote me back and was like, would love to, but I'm under contract. I can't do any press. This is a we'll revisit later door.
Well, because now you're in her DM, so she'll see whenever you message her.
Yeah. Yes.
So you could harass her like a psycho ex-girlfriend.
I already messaged her back and I said, totally get it. I work in PR. I know how these things work. Once the show wraps and you've got free reign to do whatever you want to do, we'll talk. You need to come on my show. And she like sent me a little heart emoji. So fingers up and crossed.
You left that part out. You didn't tell us this.
Fingers crossed Serena P comes on the show, guys.
She might be our first celeb guest.
Like, let's just manifest it. Let's just every 11/11 coming up, just like Serena P on Rehashing.
I have like nothing else to wish for, but yes.
It'll be fun. It would be fun. So that's our little.
It would be really fun. We really like her. We think she's really cute. So I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
She this is how you started talking about her, is that she got kind of hurt on the date.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say also about the date is that I found the whole like theme of the whole date was just like intense and like rowdy between the wrestling portion and then the evening portion, which basically consisted of all the girls just saying like, oh, we're so happy to be on this date together because like we're the OG girls. Like,
yes.
There were no new girls on that date. And then we get to see Katie, who somehow has become the moral compass.
Yeah,
of
she's
show.
Mother Teresa.
And she basically is just telling all of them, like, she fully said it's not the new girls' fault that they're here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they didn't choose when they came, you know? And she usually it bothers me when a contestant takes the drama in the house and brings it to the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, because I feel like it's a waste of time. But for this, I feel like it was necessary because Katie kind of was like, just letting him know that it's getting out of hand. Like the girls are crazy
with the Britney thing. Like they were dragging her through the mud. They were tarnishing her reputation.
Yeah, and that's how the episode basically ended, with Matt saying like the drama in the house cannot go beyond the show. It cannot go now that it's somebody's family and their livelihood and their career that's being dragged through the mud. Like he won't stand for it. So
I just feel like Katie has been like the gem that I did not expect. Like the first episode,
she's friend vibes though. She's not like going
but still, like I really didn't expect this personality out of her.
All good things.
I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Who was it? I think it was Alanna that said Katie has a one-way ticket to paradise.
Oh,
was
yes,
it Alanna?
it was me.
Oh,
the best one-liners.
Alanna has really good one-liners. Yeah,
I love Paradise.
Yeah,
I think I love Paradise more than I love any of the other Bachelor shows.
Yeah, Paradise is the best. And if we don't get Paradise in 2021, then I quit. So that is the Bachelor tea for this week. I feel like, like I said at the beginning, it really felt like an episode of Mean Girls. I really hope that as the season goes on, it starts to get a little better. We get to know Matt a bit better. And yeah, we're going to keep watching, and we're
obviously, of course.
But that's just where we're at right now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Rehashing Podcast. For more news and entertainment and everything Bachelor, of course, follow us on Instagram at Rehashing Podcast. If you have any questions or you want us to talk about a specific story or you just have a little comment, feel free to DM us on Instagram or email us, rehashingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to share with your friends. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye. Bye, everyone.